the video if you need to see it. The meeting should be starting in about 3 minutes. There are only 3 people on this board. The clerk and the chairman of each political party, the 2 main political parties, Democrat and Republican. The chair gets to appoint a person. So Ms. Michelle Daniels is a member. The county clerk is a member. And I believe Tim Lannon is the Democratic person. So that's just a little background. He's usually here, so if not, they'll just be these 2. We've got a couple more minutes, so I gotta take a message here. Okay, I'm back. So let me see who's all here. Nobody. I thought somebody was behind me. I think Mr. She's from the election board. No one here but me. And once again, this is the Madison County Election Board. It's made up of 3 people. 2 are here. They will be going over a complaint process. As you may know or may not know, there are elections coming up next year. They're mostly county offices, and I think there's some school board positions, and there's some statewide positions, I believe state reps, and some statewide positions. I'll be looking them up and posting it so you can see what all is up next year. And there are also your trustee positions are up, the board seats are up, and the actual trustee's office is up. Your township trustees officer is up. Here comes Mr. Lannon. So it's 2 o'clock on the dot. They have their Heather Bailey. She's Heather Bailey is over the election room. Somebody's
I finally did get that email from
this is the Madison County Election Board. They will be starting any second. It starts at 2 o'clock. It is 2:01. Michelle Daniels is the president. She took Russ Willis's place. Tim Lannon is the Democratic representative. This board is made up of 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, and the county, whoever the county clerk is. And by the way, that office also is up next year. So there's a lot of offices up next year, so we really need to be watching, maybe not my video, but you need to be watching some of the people that video these meetings so you can see what's going on, what's not going on, and so you'll know who you want to represent you on all these boards and commissions. We the people. You just want to know what's going on. You want to be able to hear.
I'd like to call to order today the election board meeting, May 15, 2025. Roll call, please.
Roll call of members, Michelle Daniels,
Michelle Daniels, here.
Tim Lannon,
Here.
and Linda Smith.
Let's all stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the second formality of the meeting, I'd like to introduce myself to you. Those of you that don't know me, my name
Excuse me,
is-
can you speak up because you're not coming out?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
a little better, but Linda came out very loud and clear.
Can you hear me now? I still
Yes.
have a little voice.
You have a low voice?
Yeah.
Well,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
You speak up.
Okay, so my name is Michelle Daniels. I was honored to be asked by Kelly Hewer, our dedicated and newly elected Republican chair, presently Indiana's 5th District Vice Chair, to serve in an interim position on our county election board. For those of you that are not familiar with my background, I have a bachelor's degree in political science and forensic studies from Indiana University. I have what I call a nuts and bolts resume in regards to Indiana elections. While a resident of Marion County, where I was born, I served as administrative assistant to the county election board in Marion, overseeing over 1,000 precincts, everything from budgetary matters, contracts, absentee voting, confined voting, candidate and financial filings, precinct voting locations, employee placement, and payroll. I work closely with the Marion County Council. As a resident of Madison County, I have served in various positions at election time: inspector, judge, clerk, sheriff, watcher, and machine mechanic. I have served as township chairman in addition to serving on canvassing and recount boards. I've been a precinct committeeman as well as a vice committeeman, elected and appointed within my township. I'm truly honored to serve with Tim Lannon, attorney who served in Indiana State House as our distinguished senator for over 25 years, and Linda Smith, former county recorder and our present county clerk. No one works harder or is more dedicated than Linda and her staff. During my term, I will honor my position and the responsibilities that come with it. Okay, so having said that, we're going to look at the agenda here, and we're going to go to old business. Can you hear me? Old business, okay. So, let's approve the minutes. I think you've had a review of them. Is there anything we need to address in regards to the old minutes?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I've had an opportunity to review the minutes. I didn't see any corrections that need to be made, so unless there are any other comments, I would move approval of the minutes from our last meeting.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, also we have the CEB, County Election Board complaint, protocol discussion and adoption. Heather, in our election office, posted on the county website the review and suggestion tab of complaint, protocol, and template document for public input via email. It was up for 2 weeks, posted for 2 weeks. There were no suggestions received online. However, we did have a person coming in, she told me, and the process, they suggested that the process would allow for additional pages, if needed, to be attached to the complaint. So I don't have a problem with that. You know.
No, that makes sense. That was something I thought too. I saw the form because there's space on the form, but obviously you may need more space. So I
Okay.
think that's a good suggestion.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve the protocol and the template. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All, okay, it's passed. Item number 3, it has to do with outstanding delinquent campaign financial annual reports from January 15th, 2025. Linda, I know you've been working on this. Do you want to speak to this?
Sure. So a notice of hearing was sent out to each of the 4 outstanding committees in delinquent status regarding their campaign finance report filings from January the 15th. All notices were sent via certified mail with return receipt requested. And then I have provided all of you a copy of the tracking information on those notices. Do you want me to address them one by one?
I think we should, yes.
Can you speak into the mic again? You faded out again. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome. John Poor, the latest update on his tracking number was that his item was delivered at the address that was provided on April the 23rd. Donita Thompson, the latest update to her tracking was that it was held for the required number of days and is being returned to sender. Ricky Payne, the latest update was that his item is being returned to sender and had been redelivered or tried to be redelivered, and the item was being returned to sender as well. John Bell, his tracking number, the latest update was that his item could not be delivered when on the first delivery date it was held for the required number of days and is being returned to sender. So of those 3 mentioned, only John Poor was the person that the item was actually delivered to.
Is Mr. Ford here? Right, so, now past practice was anyone who brought the committee into compliance and who received a notice of hearing and appeared before us could ask that the penalties be waived. And since no one is here, I think we need to have a discussion of how we're going to handle this. Mr. Graham, do you have, or Mr. Richardson, do you have any suggestions of how this should be done?
Madam Chair, it appears to me, since Mr. Poor was the only person who actually received notice of this hearing today, that would be the only one I think we would properly act on, unless the attorneys have some other advice as far as how that goes. But it seemed to me that, we gave, our intent was to give people notice and opportunity to come today and explain why they haven't filed their delinquent reports. That was done with Mr. Poor. He's not here. So I'm of the opinion of mine we ought to take whatever action we think is appropriate, which in my opinion would be to levy a fine for non-compliance. All the other people who were notified, did something about it and either came in compliance or demonstrated a good reason why we should not fine them. But in this case, Mr. Poor just apparently ignoring our request when we come forward. So I'm in favor of some reasonable fine. I can't remember if we have a schedule on this or not. I was thinking maybe at one time we did, but if not.
I think we did, and I know Heather and I kind of discussed that from the individuals from June of 2023, that notice of hearing that was sent out, and those people that came in. Do you remember what those assessments were?
If they showed up that day and asked for their fines to be waived or such or something, it was reduced down to $100. And if someone did not show up, it was reduced from the $1,000 down to $250.
I'm sorry, so the presumptive fine in this case would be $250, Heather?
Their fines currently are $1,000 for non-compliance of turning in the paperwork.
Right.
So you choose to do whatever you want as the board at that time with what you think is fit for that person. I don't know if you need any more information about.
I think so. So from his file, can you tell us then what he has turned in and where we are as far as knowing anything regarding monies that are in his account?
Correct.
Okay. Committee report.
So Mr. Poor, I'm Heather Bailey, the elections deputy. Mr. Poor ran in 23, and let's the other file, sorry, okay. He ran in 23, he was on the primary ticket and on the general ticket. And the only thing that he did was turn in his committee, to start the committee, the CFA 1. So we have no financial information on him whatsoever. So he never come back in and did any of the reports that were required to do so in 23, failed to turn in his 24 annual, which is what we're talking about right now.
Personally, I don't think, I mean, the gentleman's done nothing, so he's just ignoring us. So I think good is leaving the fine at $1,000 or reducing it to maybe 500, something like that. But to me, since he's made no effort whatsoever, I would think that a substantial fine is appropriate in this case.
And he was served, and he answered it, we know he was served. He only said it one time, right?
We know that someone at that location received the notice.
Yes.
That's what we know.
Okay.
A lady, it looks like a lady had signed for it for him, received the certified mail.
Do we know if he's registered? We probably didn't.
He is currently registered.
Address that we sent
Yes.
to. Okay. I think, well,
I moved that fine of $500 in this particular case.
I think so too. I would second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, so now,
And then for the other three, what is our position?
Well, I don't know, that's the attorneys, what they think in terms of, do we have to make a further attempt to serve them in this case?
Yes, I believe so. When you're instituting a fine using quasi-state power, there would have to be some indication that they were aware of the hearing. And if we're unable to do that by mailing or to find them, we could always do a notice by publication, and that would be sufficient in order to issue a fine at that point.
All right, so we need to do some further due diligence as to the whereabouts and then proceed after that.
Yeah,
point in time. If
and-
we can't find them, then we'll do a publication, a notice by publication.
And the board could authorize Heather and then my office to conduct that due diligence, and in her discretion to decide if they cannot be found to go ahead and authorize notice by publication.
Well, if the board is okay with this, I would still move that we authorize our attorneys and staff to provide further due diligence as to the whereabouts of the three individuals that were not served, and then to report back to the board.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, new business in the ESS and the new e-poll books.
Yes, I can give you a status update on the new e-poll pads. On April the 17th, this board voted unanimously for ESNS to be the new e-poll book vendor. On May 6th, the commissioners approved the vendor contract with ESNS, and on May the 13th, the council appropriated the funds within the HAVA Election Security Grant Fund. I'm currently working with ESNS representative Becky Roush on the anticipated arrival date, along with the options for tech training.
Do we need to address the previous vendor as far as the agreement we have? Okay.
Yes, there is a provision in that contract that requires notice of cancellation, and there'll also have to be some notices that go to the state. If the board would like, you could simply authorize my office to take any actions necessary to cancel that contract, so we don't run the risk of having to pay for it another year when we don't use it.
I would still move that the attorney be authorized to provide the required notice to the board.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anything else?
I have just one issue that I can bring up. It's not really an issue, it just grows out of the formal complaint process that we protocol that we just approved. I think it would be good for us to look at maybe some protocols in regards to the hearings themselves, not just how to file the complaint, but also what the protocol should be in terms of hearings upon complaints, whether it be things like making sure that all evidence is submitted under oath, evidence be relevant to the issues that are brought forward, and maybe just more of a structure too. I think we know the structure, but make it clear that the complainant, I would think, would have the initial burden of going forward, the respondent an opportunity to respond, and et cetera. So if maybe we could ask our attorneys to take a look at that, and provide just some suggestions to us at this point in time. But while we're looking at how to make the procedures more efficient, I think that's a good thing we ought to take a look at as well. And I don't think we need a motion. I'm just if the board's consensus is to do that, and just ask Jeff and John to do it.
Any other discussion?
Are you taking public comments at all?
Is there any public comments? Mr. Richardson?
Pardon?
Is
Mr.
there
Richardson.
public comments? Okay, is there a public comment?
Who's Mr. Richardson?
He's an attorney for the board.
Oh, okay. I thought he was.
They both are.
Oh, okay.
I do have a question. I have a question, not a comment.
Go to the floor.
Tell us who you are.
And that would just be terrible, and I know you just imposed a $500 fine. What happens if you don't? How do you collect that money, and what happens if he doesn't pay it?
What's the process?
We can defer to our attorney.
I assume the board has some power to collect it. That means we can authorize our attorney to take legal action if necessary. I leave it in our attorney's hands when it comes to that.
So I think it'd be something we send them like an invoice of sort, and if they didn't answer, we do doing small things.
Yeah,
Still can't
we
hear
get a
you.
notice of fine, and then once the fine is established lawfully, the fine can be reduced to a judgment, at which point the judgment can attach on real estate, and it's all, then you're swerving into collection law, which is, but it's, there's certainly ways to seek out the payment of that fine.
Rebecca Crooms, and when you spoke of this complaint process, you said you posted it on the county website. Was that advertised? How was people supposed to know?
It's part of the public meeting that you attended, or that anyone who attended that is posted online as well. It's a part of that. That's how people would know.
Would have known, because it's not on there now, right?
Now, is that for 2 weeks?
It was mentioned at the last meeting we were going to post that.
I know, but I have looked on there a couple times. It must have hadn't been posted yet or something. I don't know. But do you think you got sufficient input these past 2 weeks? So what you passed today, when will that be posted?
We will have to talk to our IT department and let them get it put in as a fill-in, because I think that was another thing that we wanted to do. So the template will be something that you can actually fill in and submit.
That's right.
Okay. So you don't know when you'll have it posted then?
I don't know when.
Okay.
It depends on IT department.
So people need to check back if they want to view that.
Either
In a
that, or we
couple
will make
weeks.
an announcement at our next meeting. How's that? And that way you will know.
When's your next meeting?
I think that we have that already established, and that's up to the chairman to.
It's August 21st.
August 21st? Okay, thank you.
Okay, Nicole Schuyler Kapuscinski. And I was gonna make a comment about what Rebecca just said. Because if somebody didn't watch the video and they weren't here, how were they supposed to get notified? Like a random just citizen in the community to be able to put in input. Because I didn't know that it was there for 2 weeks. Somebody sent me a screenshot of it, and we had some issues with it, but I didn't know we were supposed to return any type of comment with it. So I don't think they did either, they would have made an input. Because one of the things that she said was, they wanted a drop-down menu with the Indiana codes, so that it would be, easy for you guys, easier than having to write it down. So what I deal with is grammar issues. And so a lot of people here in Anderson that may be poor, our parents may be uneducated, we may not be able to
grammatically speak the way that's needed to be able to file a complaint. Hence why mine probably got bumped a couple times. But anyway, then to the complaint process, since I filed the complaint process, I didn't even get invited to be able to speak at the table, but I'm here now. So even the state of Indiana doesn't have a proper complaint process. And if we did, then they have failed miserably. And then they tell me that the state of Indiana Election Division doesn't even have jurisdiction over you guys to do any type of investigation. And I'm too poor to sue you, so it kind of sucks for us poor people in the community that don't get to see justice. So I'm here representing the 47% of Madison County residents who don't get justice. But then when I try to file a complaint, I have to do, so here you go, viewers and voters. You have to go get a seal of approval to even prove who you are to be able to file a HAVA complaint. I've already filed a HAVA complaint and the state of Indiana did anything, so I don't understand why I would need a seal of approval to file a complaint. And let's go into election integrity and election security. And in 2008, I have another complaint about filing my vote getting stolen from the Madison County Election Board. Now, I would have liked to have filed another complaint about that, but since there's not a complaint process, I had a problem trying to file that. And I was so frustrated at that point, because I've already filed about 10 to 20 different complaints that I didn't get answers to, that I've kind of held on to it. But Kyle Pierce is aware of it, the state of Indiana was aware of it, and yet the state, I'm being told that...
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the year. What year was that?
2008, when I was deployed to Baghdad, I had an absentee ballot, and I sent it back, and someone in the Madison County election room canceled my vote and wrote that I walked into the office and cast my new absentee vote, which I have all that here, all the documentation. Kyle Pierce is even aware of that case. But like I said, nobody's helping me out, so it kind of makes it really difficult when you file a complaint. So I guess where I'm going, this is all my complaints. I mean, like all the documents that I had and that I filed that I was told I didn't get it in a timely manner, I've been lied on. I'm a little frustrated and I'm getting ready to close out, but it starts with election integrity and election complaint process. And I don't even know if we could say that we have election integrity for the past 4 years with allowing Russ Willis to have so much access to do some of the things that he's done to me, and nobody wants to do anything about it. And with that, I yield my time.
Nicole, the letter, Attorney Mr. Richardson, he said in the letter that he would, I know your frustration, I saw your counsel, and it really, I don't like to see you frustrated. You served our country, and we wouldn't even be here without you. That's true.
I didn't just serve, I was willing to take a bullet for everybody in this room. And some of the people that were in office when I served that actually I was ignored when we were trying to get me pulled out of Baghdad. So I got some discrepancies with some of the elected officials that are no longer there that are connected to some things. And so it's a little upsetting that when I finally do need the people that I vote for, I couldn't as much get a hearing. I got disregarded, about 10 of them. I got file stamp seals from all the, it doesn't really matter. It's a moot point from what your attorney says because Russ is no longer here. But we are paying attention. The voters are paying attention. I'm definitely not going to let anything slide from here on out.
I think Mr. Richardson in the letter, I remember him stating that he wouldn't mind sitting down with you and talking.
I don't really want to sit down with the county attorney at this point. We're 4 years in. We're 4 years in, buddy.
I thought maybe he could say something that maybe you feel like you haven't been listened to. And I thought maybe.
I doubt it. The public, I want a public hearing, and so I want it to be acknowledged what happened during the 2020 election cycle and that someone dropped the ball. That's all I ever asked for. And the Indiana Code states that we're supposed to get a response in 90 days. So it's even recorded that there was hearings that I wasn't invited to. So I've had my open door violation. I've had my due process violated.
I think you see it that way, and I understand that.
That's what the Indiana Code says.
Right. I read it was 124 pages.
No, that's not the only one I filed.
I know, but I just want you to know this, I read it twice. And I felt your frustration, I did. However, the
You're
chairman-
new, 4 years in.
I know, but the chairman, our previous chairman decided, the law states that the chairman can decide the agenda. And if he doesn't think it should be on the agenda, and he didn't think that you filed in time, and he thought it was a property.
No, lady, you are so far behind, you need to catch up, okay? No, the video footage shows that he blatantly lied to the other members of the board in 2022. So now I'm gonna yield my time and I'm gonna walk away, but you were wrong on that. I'm just gonna tell you that.
Okay, do we have any other business to carry?
I move we adjourn.
I second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, people, that's the end of the election board.
See if
Next meeting, August 21st. I assume at 2 o'clock, August 21st, unless they change it. But that was the election board meeting for today. Now, we have another meeting this evening that I'm going to go to. I believe it starts at 6:30. So stay tuned or check me out around 6:30. I'll be in Pendleton. Yes, Catherine, you're right. I could have gotten up and spoke, but I didn't. I had complaints filed also that weren't answered, and even a police report against Russ, but no one ever called about it or asked me about it. So I can understand Nicole's frustration there. But this meeting is over, so see you later.